talk about Bill Hamilton because I am officially losing my mind over this man. Are we actually watching the same show right now? Bill is lying in a hospital bed at Garland Memorial, recovering from literal heart failure, multiple cardiac arrests in the operating room, and a brand new pacemaker implantation. He has been through the absolute ringer medically. And what is he doing? He is reaching his absolute, undeniable breaking point. Now, we all know he is getting sick and tired of the endless screeching arguments between Danny and Hayley right outside his door. The bickering between his ex-wife and his current wife is completely out of control, and it would drive anyone crazy. But let's be brutally honest here, guys. It is not just the fighting that is driving him crazy. It is his insatiable, toxic, out of control lust. I cannot believe Bill Hamilton right now. This man is literally incapable of being faithful or keeping his desires in check. His libido is a weapon of mass destruction at this point, destroying everything and everyone in its path. He cannot stay loyal to one woman to save his life. We all saw what happened in that elevator with Danny during the tornado. He was married to Hayley, yet the second he was trapped in a confined space with his ex-wife, he threw his vows out the window and hooked up with her. And now, even with a pacemaker keeping his fragile heart ticking, he is still thinking with his lower half instead of his brain. It is absolutely infuriating. Does anyone else feel like screaming at their television screen every time Bill makes a terrible, selfish decision? Let's rewind a bit and look at the fact. Bill was explicitly warned by the medical staff at Garland Memorial. Nurse Shanice and Nurse Ashley literally had to play bouncer and physically ban Hayley from getting anywhere near that hospital bed because these two could not keep their hands off each other. The doctors set strict, non-negotiable boundaries for his health. Exertion could literally kill him. His heart cannot take the strain of physical intimacy right now. But does Bill listen to the highly trained medical professionals who just saved his life? No. He is so blinded by his own desires, so consumed by his massive ego and his lust, that he actually thinks he is invincible. He thinks the rules of biology and medicine simply do not apply to the great Bill Hamilton. And let's talk about the ultimate enabler in this disastrous equation, Hayley Hamilton. Nobody, and I mean nobody, in their right mind would support Bill being discharged from the hospital right now. His daughters, Chelsea and Naomi, are terrified for his life. The medical staff is baffled by his deteriorating condition. Everyone who actually loves him wants him to stay under observation. But Hayley is all for it. Because Hayley does not care about Bill's health. She cares about her sinister, calculated endgame. The fact that she is the only person supporting his exit should be the biggest, most glaring red flag in the history of Fairmont Crest. Why is no one else seeing this? So, what do these two absolute lunatics do? They hatch a completely unhinged idea to sneak out of the hospital. I am literally shaking just thinking about it. Bill Hamilton, a man who just had his chest cut open for a pacemaker, is planning a grand escape from a medical facility just to satisfy his urges in a private hotel room with Hayley. Make it make sense, people. He is actively trading his literal life for a few fleeting moments of passion. It is the most reckless, irresponsible, and mind-bogglingly stupid decision a character has ever made on this show. And that is saying a lot. Just picture this chaotic, disastrous scene playing out. Bill ripping off his heart monitors, sneaking past the nurse's station while Ashley and Shanice are distracted, and making a run for it with his scheming wife. They are fleeing to a hotel, completely abandoning the safety and security of the hospital. Bill is putting his life on the line, dangling his survival over a terrifying cliff, all because he cannot suppress his love. It is the ultimate act of toxic masculinity and reckless arrogance. He truly believes he can cheat death, just like he cheats on his wives. He is risking everything for nothing. But here is where the story gets incredibly dark, and I need you all to brace yourselves. If Bill ignores the doctor's strict orders and engages in this hotel hookup, will he pay the ultimate price? Will he actually pay with his life for his sheer stupidity? We all know the terrifying truth that Bill is completely oblivious to. Hayley has been slowly, methodically poisoning this man for weeks. She gave him that toxic green smoothie. She pushed him to exercise until he collapsed in his office. She is a black white owl waiting to strike, and Bill is willingly walking straight into her web. Imagine the sheer terror of this hypothetical hotel scene. Bill and Hayley are alone, completely isolated in a hotel room, far away from Shanice, Ashley, Dr. Madison Montgomery, and the life-saving defibrillators at Garland Memorial. They start to get physical. The exertion becomes too much for his weakened heart. His heart rate spikes dangerous. The pacemaker struggles and fails to keep up with the overwhelming strain. And then, bam, Bill collapses again. He hits the floor, clutching his chest, gasping for air. But this time, he is not in his law office where Caroline can rush in and perform heroic CPR. This time, he is completely isolated with the one person on earth who actively wants him dead. I cannot stress this enough, guys. Hayley will not lift a single finger to save him. If Bill hits the floor fighting for his life, do you really think Hayley is going to frantically dial 911? Absolutely not. She is going to stand there with that wicked, chilling, sociopathic smirk on her face and watch him take his very last breath. She has been plotting his demise for months with her cousin Randy Parker. This hotel escape is the golden opportunity she has been praying for. It is the perfect setup handed to her on a silver platter by Bill's own uncontrollable libido. She wants that $10 million life insurance policy, and she wants it now. A fatal heart attack during a passionate, illicit hotel rendezvous? It is the absolute perfect cover story. She can just play the role of the devastated, grieving widow who tried her best but couldn't save her beloved husband from a sudden cardiac event. It makes my blood boil just thinking about how easily she could get away with it. Bill is literally walking into a death trap, blinded by his own insatiable lust, and he has absolutely no idea that the woman he is lusting after is actually his executioner. This is peak soap opera drama, and I am here for it, but I am also terrified. So the million-dollar question that we all need to be asking right now is, will someone figure out what is happening before it is too late? Will someone notice that Bill's hospital bed is empty, connect the dots, and track them down before Hayley lets him die? We know Danny is obsessed with Bill's whereabouts, but she is currently drowning in her own overwhelming guilt about their elevator hookup and fighting to save her marriage to Andre. She is too distracted by her own mess. Chelsea is deeply traumatized, dealing with her past kidnapping fears and clashing with Kat. So who's going to step up and save this foolish, arrogant man from his own reckless desires? I am putting all my money, all my hopes, and all my bets on Naomi Hawthorne. Yes, Naomi. Think about it, guys. Naomi has been the absolute unsung hero of this entire storyline. She is the one managing his massive law firm while he is incapacitated. She is the one dealing with the arrogant, insubordinate Tomas Navarro. She is the one who has consistently seen through Hayley's manipulative, gold-digging facade from day one. Naomi has saved Bill from Hayley's clutches multiple times already, stepping in when no one else would. She is the ultimate protector of her father, even when he absolutely does not deserve her loyalty. Naomi is already dealing with so much heavy emotional trauma right now. She just bravely confessed her BRCA-positive diagnosis to her family. She is actively considering a double mastectomy to save her own life. She is stressed beyond belief, carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders. But despite all of her own personal trauma and health fears, she is the only one sharp enough, smart enough, and determined enough to realize that Hayley is a lethal threat. I can totally see Naomi storming into Garland Memorial, finding an empty hospital bed where her father should be, and going into full unstoppable detective mode to track him down. She is not going to let Hayley win. I am visualizing the most epic, heart-pounding rescue scene right now. Imagine Naomi, perhaps with Jacob by her side, tracking Bill's phone or interrogating the hospital staff, finally figuring out which hotel they sneaked off to. Picture Naomi busting down the door of that hotel room right at the exact moment Bill starts to crash. Imagine her catching Hayley red-handed, standing over a dying Bill, refusing to call for an ambulance. It would be iconic television. Naomi is the only person in Fairmont Crest who can rip the mask off Hayley's face and expose her for the cold-blooded, gold-digging murderer she truly is to the entire world. If Naomi manages to pull this off and save him, Bill owes his daughter his entire life. If he survives this incredibly foolish hotel escapade, he better spend the rest of his days making it up to Naomi and begging for her forgiveness. He needs to realize that his lust and his ego have nearly cost him everything. He needs to wake up and see that the woman he married is a monster, and the daughter he often takes for granted is his guardian angel. Seriously, Soap fam, Bill Hamilton is the sole architect of his own destruction right now. His absolute inability to remain faithful to any woman, his constant, pathetic need for validation through physical intimacy, and his reckless, arrogant disregard for his own health have led him to this terrifying precipice. He was warned. He was guarded. But he chose his libido over his life. If he dies in that hotel room, it will be a tragedy of his own making, a direct consequence of his own toxic flaws. But I am praying, I am literally begging the soap gods that Naomi gets there in time to stop Hayley from cashing in that massive life insurance check. What do you guys think? Is anyone else with me on this Naomi theory? Will Naomi save the day and expose the Black Widow, or is Bill finally going to face the ultimate fatal consequence of his uncontrollable lust? Let me know all your thoughts, theories, and rants in the comments below. I want to hear from every single one of you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more Beyond the Gates rants, because you know we are going to be covering every single second of this fallout. Until next time, stay dramatic.